it do, GG gang? GG family. It's your girl, Funny Womack, and I am back with part 2 of my Narcissistic Ex story time. So I left off with giving y'all like bulletins or whatever. So this is the actual story time right here. All right, so this is the actual story time, y'all, and I was just so caught up and just frustrated and lost and confused about this situation that I even started to write a book about this whole situation. It's only like 4 pages, but yeah. It started November 26, 2022. This is when I met this man. Okay, my auntie, my twin, she passed away. I'm gonna say November the 24th or 20th or something like that. But anyway, my auntie passed away, and my narcissistic ex was hired as the musician for the funeral. So we all in the funeral or whatever. My family, you know, family sits up front. So I had so much family show up for my aunt that they took up the whole section for the family. So me, my sister, my brother, and my niece, we went and we walked up front and sat on the friend side directly where he was playing the beat bass drums at or whatever. So we walked up front and sat directly in front of him. So when I saw him, I was like, ooh, he had on glasses, by the way, some shades. So when I saw him, I was like, ooh, that's a fine, handsome man. And I nudged my sister like that. I was like, girl, that man is so fine. I guess he read my lips, or he saw me looking at him and speaking on him. So he gave me like this little smirk or whatever. Mind y'all, he didn't have the best smile. He had some big yellow teeth. But I looked past all that because at the end of the day, he was still attractive. So we at the funeral or whatever, I noticed sitting in the pew in front of us, it was a little girl, and it was another singer or whatever, another guy that was a part of the music team. So when I saw the little girl, she like leaned over and said something to him, and then he pointed to the back, and when he pointed to the back, I guess he said, go ask your mom. So I seen the little girl get up, and she ran to the back of the church over there on the family side, and she said something to a woman, and the woman looked it just like her. So I assumed that was his family, that was his wife, and that was his child. So I'm like, oh, this man is already taken. So it just instantly just like, oh, because I don't mess with married men, I don't mess with men in a relationship, because that's just not my cup of tea. So we still going on, we singing and breathing and preaching, praising and preaching, and you know, they everybody getting up saying what they had to say about my aunt, and you know, so my cousin, which he know how to sing too, so he got up and sung a solo verse for her. All her grandkids got up and said something good about her, all her sisters and her brothers, and then after all that was said and done, the attractive man, he got up, and he started singing. And this man can freaking sing. I was like, what? He can sing somebody out their panties. And I think that's what he did to me. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, he here with his family, so no. So he's singing, and he just blowing the roof off the church. He just hitting them high notes, singing, and he could like really sing. And that's what really drawn me closer to him, because he can sing, he was attractive, he smelled good, his appearance was just looking like $1 million. So I was just like, OMG. So yeah, and it was like, ooh, shoot. damn, who is this man? So boom, they in church singing, praise, preaching. He did his little solo verse, and then the other guy did his little solo verse, and then my cousin came up and preached. And y'all know how the church, a funeral ceremony go. So boom, after all that was said and done, it was time to go back to the mess hall. I'm saying mess hall like we was in the damn army. It was time to go back to the repast. So we went all back to this building, and that's when all the family met up, and we all got there. And, you know, we hugging each other. Some people crying, people laughing. I was joking. So I see this little girl again. So I'm looking for him. Like, okay, I see this little girl, but where he at? So I didn't see him in the beginning. And I didn't see the little girl mother. So I'm like, So, you know, we all finding out, we all in line getting our plates, and then we all finding our seats. So I sat at the table with my cousin, her husband, and her children, and my other cousin. And my other cousin and the little girl, they was like this. So the little girl came and sat at the table with us. So I'm like, is that man coming? Is her mama coming? So I'm sitting at the table eating my food, minding my business, right? You know, getting some footage of the funeral, and I'm pretty sure y'all saw, I vlogged that funeral, so I'm gonna put the funeral somewhere in the next clip.
Mama house, her man's a Philly couch. I ain't really with the razzle dazzle. Knock him out, but then I throw him off the boat paddle. Go to Tijuana, put the kilo on the saddle. Sack him, hit a lick and cop a pterodactyl. Pap him, chop him, bite down like an apple. Match it with the acres, with the horses in the cabin like a narco. Got dope like Pablo. Cut dope like Pablo. Chop trees with the Draco. On the north, got Diego. Say hasta luego. We'll be in rapping kilo. Snub nose with potato.
So I'm sitting down there eating my food. Lo and behold, y'all, here come this man. And guess what? He sat right beside me. It was like he had on all black. And y'all know the thief in the night, they wear all black. But I wasn't thinking nothing bad. Like, I wasn't thinking nothing like that. He just came, just walked up, and I just like felt his presence. It was like, it was like, I felt it. I just felt the energy. It was like good energy. I just like felt his presence, and he walked up, and he said, "Is anybody sitting right here?" I said, "No, ain't nobody sitting right here." It was just like, so from that moment on, right there, when that man asked, "Was that seat taken?" I already knew he was single. So all bets was off. I just got the thought in my head, oh, he ain't got no woman, this and the third. So he pulled the seat up, and he sat right there next to me. And the first thing he asked me, "Do you got any kids? Which one of these kids yours?" And I said, I don't have no kids. I said, "But that's your daughter right there, because y'all look alike." And he was like, "Yeah, that's my daughter, and I got a 19-year-old son." So I was like, okay. He said, "So are you married?" I said, "No." "Are you married?" He said, "I'm not married, but I am divorced." I said, oh, okay. Long as he was divorced. Wow, I'm just getting so many calls and messages. It seems like every time I get on the camera, people want to call and message me. But the other one, I'm gonna have to call. See, that's my problem. These men, they just keep bothering me, and I need to stop responding I just need to stop responding to them. I'm gonna start back being mean to men because they just keep bothering me because I'm so approachable. They just keep bothering me. But he asked me, was I married? I told him no, but he said he was divorced. And so I said, is your divorce finalized? He said, oh yeah, it's been final. I'm cleared. I don't have no baggage, no nothing. I said, oh, okay. And so we started talking or whatever, and it just went from there, and we was just stuck at the hip at the whole time at the repast, and everybody was like, ooh, lovebirds. We both said my Aunt Curlin, which was her name, rest in peace, it was like she brought us together. It was like she bonded us because we was at her funeral and we all came together for her, and I just felt like I found love at her funeral. It was like, this real. Because at first I wasn't gonna go to the funeral because I really don't like funerals. I wasn't gonna go to the funeral, but something kept telling me to go. Mary, go to that funeral. Go to that funeral. Go, Mary, go to the funeral. So I ended up going to the funeral, and I thought that little voice in the back of my head that was telling me to go to the funeral was because so I can meet this good God-fearing man. Whole time that was a devil. That was a devil setting me up for failure. So we had to repass or whatever. And then after that, we went back to my cousin, Mini Mansion. And y'all see me did plenty of videos with her at the Mini Mansion with the Narcissistic ex. But anyway, we went back to her house. That's when all the fun began. Everybody let their hair down. We got some drinks in. We was just partying. So when I get there, I see that little girl. Oh, but before we left the repast, me and the Narcissistic ex, we exchanged numbers. But when we get to my cousin's house, I see that same little girl again. So I'm looking around for the dad. I'm like, where the papa at? Where the papa at? So I asked my cousin, I said, hey, where Terrence at? She said, Terrence. Mind you, her baby daddy named Terrence. She said, Terrence. I said, yeah, the Terrence. The guy that was singing at the funeral. She said, I don't want to say his name. She said, I said, whatever his name is, where he at? So she called him on the phone, and he said he was on his way. Mind you, that same day was his birthday. And so he finally came, pulled up in this nice coupe. I was like, ooh, okay. So he came in smelling good, smelling like, what's that cologne, that men's cologne, all the men's wear, Jean Paul. He came in just smelling so good, looking so good, had on this nice fit. I'm like, what the hell? And he dressed like that all the time. He didn't dress like a hoodlum. He dressed like a nice, casual, older man. So, he finally get there, and we was attached at the hip again. And it was like he was following me around all night, and I was loving it. I was like, come on, you can follow me. Because I was just like, what in the world? It was like love at first sight. Yeah. So he was following me around all night, and his brother was following my sister around all night. But my sister, she like boom, boom. She like hard on me. She don't give up about none of that. You feel me? But yeah, his brother was following her around all night. So me and him, we was just talking, chilling, vibing. We was getting to know each other. Mind you, it was his birthday. He was like, well, yeah, today my birthday. But I would rather be here celebrating life with, because he called my auntie his mother in Christ or something like that. He said, I would rather be here celebrating a life that's no longer here. So, but he said, I don't have any other plans afterwards. He said, what's your plans? I said, I ain't got no plans. I can just go back to Richmond and be bored and dry. He was like, well, won't you come, hang out with me for the night? So I'm like, where? He said, we can go back to my place. I said, no, I'm not big on going to God's place, but you can come up here and we can get a motel room for the night. He was like, well, I don't want to get a motel room because I have my own place. And I said, well, I don't even invite men to my place, which wasn't my own place at the time. I was living with my Gigi. But I said, I mean, if money's the issue, I can get the motel room and we can chill there. He was like, boom, okay, that's cool. That was red flag number one. Like, nigga, you wanted to spend some time with, well, I guess it was equal. But, I mean, he at least could have paid for the motel room, which wasn't a big deal to me because like I said, I got my own money, and if it's something that I want to do, something I want to dodge in, I'm going to fund it, So we stood at my cousin's house, everybody, partying, we having fun, and boom. The night is coming to an end. My mom getting a little bit too tipsy, and she was a driver, and she really didn't really wanted to drive back from Petersburg to Richmond intoxicated. So we end up leaving, and I told my narcissistic ex, I was like, well, we gonna link up later and blase. So we gets back up to Richmond. I text him and he called. So boom, I'm like, hey, you still over there? He was like, yeah, I'm still here. My daughter, she's having so much fun. I don't want to take, the fun from her. Plus it's my weekend, so I'm gonna let her have a little bit more fun. I said, so how you gonna get away? He was like, well, I'm gonna ask L, which was my cousin's name. I'm not gonna say her whole name, but we're gonna say L. He said, I'm gonna ask L, can she babysit, overnight so I can come up there. So I'm like, okay, boom. He said, but I'm gonna call you and let you know the arrangements. So I'm like, okay. So I got, we hung up. I got my spend the night bag together. I was ready to go have some fun. So, yeah, I got my spend the night bag together. Eventually, he ended up coming probably like an hour or two later. I give him the address to where I was at. He comes pick me up, and by the time I get outside, he's already outside the car, standing by the passenger door. As soon as he saw me walking up, he opened the door for me, which I'm used to guys opening the door for me, so that wasn't nothing extravagant or big, but I really appreciated it. And it was it was like, oh, okay, he opened doors, that's good. So he opens the door for me, grabbed my bag, put it in the trunk, and we ride off into the sunset. So we get to the room or whatever. I goes in, I purchase the room, get the key, I get back in the car, and we goes to the room. So I brought my speaker, I brought a bottle of wine, and I think he had some marijuana. Yeah. So I was like, well, I really don't smoke like that, but I would smoke some marijuana with you. And he said, I don't really drink like that, but I'll drink some wine with you. So I was like, cool, we got a deal. So we drinking the wine, I'm hitting the little marijuana, and he don't do them brown papers, he did the white papers. And I'm hitting the white paper, and I'm choking. I don't like it because it's hitting me in my throat. It's like it was burning my throat. So we chilling, we vibing, we get to know each other. And I said, take them glasses off, let me see how you look. Ooh, Lord. And when he took them glasses off, I was like, what? This man was even finer without them damn glasses on. I was like, no. This man was so fine. It was like his eyes was like glossy, shiny, like pretty eyes. Like, I'm like, oh, gee, this man is so attractive. Yes, y'all, and I'm not capping. This man was like really freaking attractive. In the beginning now, he was just like so drop dead gorgeous. He was attractive. So I was like, no, keep them glasses off. I like how you look. You look better with them off, baby. So we vibing, we chilling. I brought my iPad too. We watching movies on the iPad or whatever. And nothing much really happened that night, but except for us vibing, chilling, or whatever. So, since I was so attracted to him and I hadn't been with any other man since my ex, y'all know the rest. But anyway, boom, boom, whatever. We go to sleep, wake up the next morning, boom, 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 boom. Housekeeping, time to check out. Housekeeper was knocking on our door trying to kick us out. So he was like, F them, let them knock. Let them knock. I was like, no, but we got to get up and leave. Check out time was 11. It was like 11:45 or something. So we get up, we shower. I brought my overnight bag, and I don't think he wore nothing. But I brought my overnight bag. I got up, showered, you know, put on some clean clothes, and we went out to eat. Meanwhile, L calling his phone, asking him when is he going to come pick up his daughter because her family had something planned for that day. So he said, yeah, after we have breakfast, I'm going to come get her. So we out at IHOP, we having breakfast, he paid for the tab or whatever. And it's just like, we both was just like, just mesmerized with each other. It was nice. It was alright. It was alright. It was nice. After we eat IHOP, he drops me off and he said, y'all already know, so when I'm gonna see you again? I'm like, whenever you free. Because at that time I was working and you know, he was working as well. I'm like, well, whenever you free. He said, I can come back and get you tonight. I was like, okay, you can come back and get me tonight. So he went, matter of fact, it was on a Sunday because he got his daughter Friday, Saturday, and took her back on Sunday. He said, I can come back and get you tonight after I drop my daughter off. I said, okay, that's fine. Go ahead, drop your daughter off and come back and get your girl. So, matter of fact, that is his daughter calling me now. So I want to take this call. I'll be right back. Stay tuned for part 3.
Still serving at work. Junkies love us, collect the block, yo. They all look up to us. We support